Yeah, relieved. I think it's not gonna lie, it's been a pretty hard 3 weeks to be honest. We've had some moments in our footy club that you sort of struggle with and you move through, and obviously then some losses along the way. So look, I'm really proud of the way the players responded. We really did put it on our leaders and our playing group to respond, and we had a couple of disappointing weeks there the week previously, and they responded quite well, started well, which is really important against a side that you don't really want to give an even break to. So I thought Noah and his team did a terrific job stepping up and responding, which is important.
You said you were going to sort of leave it to them this week. You didn't need to motivate them. Is that how it played out?
Yeah, very much so. Like, a lot of these guys have been playing there, and a lot of them are young AFL players, but you do anything to play finals. It's everyone's aim sort of thing. So the motivation was always there sort of thing. It was just getting them to understand that we are well and truly capable, or more importantly, giving them permission that it's okay to win. We probably felt a little bit tired, I think, in the previous 2 weeks. Didn't handle our moments as well as probably what we should, but I thought we put that to bed tonight. Sort of got the monkey off our back a little bit, I would say. And Noah and his group really took charge, and I thought led from the front and got the result we were after.
You got everything you would have hoped out of Rioli and Humphrey?
Yeah, well, they got through, which is the big one, and they both had an impact as well, which is exciting. Obviously, to have the run and carry of Daniel off half back, and I thought you saw the value of Humphrey. I think there was the very first transition inside 50, won that crucial ball, and that's what he does. He's a one-on-one player forward of the ball, and those guys are worth their weight in gold. So I thought those two boys contributed really, really well. Obviously, we subbed off Bailey in three-quarter time just to make sure that he was right for next week as well.
Just on that, when did you start to relax a bit, or you couldn't because you were conscious, of course, any potential concussion or injury?
Yeah.
It's a short.
Well, it's one of those ones. As a coach, you never really relax because you're sort of worrying about what the game looks like first and foremost, but then you're also worried about your personnel out there. The game was obviously over at three-quarter time, but then you just got to play the game throughout, and then we wanted to manage a couple of players here and there. So it's always difficult, and you're always holding your breath. There's no question about that, but we got through relatively unscathed, which is good.
Your mantra this year has been anyone, anywhere, basically. The biggest trip in footy.
Yeah, we're excited. We had obviously had a good win over in Optus Stadium earlier in the year, and we're disappointing versus Fremantle early doors here. We had, I think we gave up the first 5 goals and managed to wind them back, and then Shea kicked a couple of beautiful goals at the end to get the win for them. So we're confident. We go over confident. We'll give it our best shot. What we do know is we've got a heap of fans, I reckon, at Gold Coast that, in the city of Gold Coast, are looking forward to seeing how we go. It's been awesome. The build-up this week has been incredible around the city of Gold Coast, just having people talk about the game, looking forward to the game, and, even get close to 17,000 on a Wednesday night was pretty cool.
What have you seen from your team that would give you belief that you can go over and play in front of 55,000 partisan fans?
Yeah, I think what we've sort of spoken about is we've had 15 wins throughout the year, and we've never really been, I think I'm not even sure what our biggest losing, maybe what was the game versus GWS was probably our biggest game. That was probably our flattest game too, but we always give ourselves a chance. Even in the games we've been beaten, we've been in front at critical stages. So they're a side that never gives up or refuses to be beaten. Sometimes we do get beaten, but at least we have a crack and come back and fight it out. So I'm confident that our guys, if we play our best, we're a very, very good chance of winning that game.
Talk about them telling them it's okay to win. Do you think they've got the belief now to go and win a final?
I think so. Look, I think once again, you never know until you know. People sort of say we're inexperienced. I think someone mentioned downstairs we've got 3 finals players that have played in finals, but at the end of the day, you're going to play your first final at some stage. What you've got to have is belief and confidence in what you do and how you play. We've certainly got a team identity and what that looks like, and I think people will see that and understand that, and I think it stands up in big games. Like I said, we've lost some games along the way, but we've been in every game along the way, which is also important.
Some nice scenes tonight, like in the crowd, and also even just Witsy kicking the last goal.
He's taking the piss, wasn't he? Seriously. We actually had a little bet upstairs. There was a meat tray on it, whether he got it. So Sean Grigg said he didn't reckon he'd get it, so he's up for a meat tray. But it was great reward. The big fella's such an integral part of our footy club, and it was really, really, quite emotional scenes in the rooms after. The people that have paved the way. You see Bob East, who's been here since the start, Tony Cochran been here since the start. I've got Alex Rigby, Barry Rigby, Lindsay Bull, a lot of people, Cal Burns, that have paved the way, and we're sort of getting a little bit of joy at that. But to think about those people, and more importantly, see those people in the rooms and celebrating with them was really quite special. We have Barry and Phil, our property guys that have been here since inception, and that. So it was very, very cool moment.
And for you, sort of in your second life as a footy coach outside of Victoria, how have you enjoyed being in that position?
Yeah, I loved it.
You've got the voice for it.
I just love my time up here. I love the people that are a part of it. I'm a very small part of what our club has become, and more importantly, what it's becoming. I think we're starting to see what this group is capable of. We are young and emerging, if that makes sense, but we're also young and emerging as a footy club. You're going to see people throughout the city of Gold Coast, and I noticed it walking around Burleigh, that all of a sudden there's a lot of Suns colours that are jumping up. So it's a really exciting place to be.
We know how much you love Will Graham. What's he got to do in the next week to put his name on?
Oh, he's certainly, he's there, and we've just got to make sure that he's right to go. And, I sort of, without putting too much pressure on the lad, I said, listen, he's sort of built for finals as a David Swallow and these type of players, so we've just got to see how that goes. He's obviously hasn't played a lot of footy, but we'll let it run its course and see how it goes. He's an important player, not only for the now, but more importantly for probably the next 10 to 12 years as well. He's had a tough month, obviously, with the loss of his family member, and he'll have his ups and downs sort of thing, but he's also knows he's got another family here that absolutely love him to death.
We're already probably in there, but Noah and Rowley cement All-Australian tonight.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you? They were both incredible, and we're very fortunate. There's not often you get players of that calibre in your side, and I'm very privileged to see them up close. You always notice them from afar, but you see the hard work they put in. There's a reason they're superstars of the competition. They work harder and longer and better than anyone else, and the amount of work they put into their footy craft. It's a great example of any young boy or girl that wants to be the very best. You've got to work hard to get there, and they were terrific again tonight. Both those boys had outstanding games. Toot Miller's another guy that we probably gloss over a little bit because he's probably overshadowed a little bit at the moment by the other two, but he's missed some footy this year, and we did miss him, but God, when he's been back, thank God, great player.
An ideal preparation for Ben King to go into a finals with a bag like that tonight.
Yeah, but he's had a good, I reckon, back half of the year. Like at the start of the year, he probably was a little bit, I'd say he's a little bit down, but his second part of the year has been outstanding. Goals are the measure what people on the outside look at, but his ability to halve contests, his defensive aspect of his game has really improved, and his ability to work with others, which might seem a funny thing to do, but the connection piece down there with both Jai, Longy and Ethan has been really important to how we play, and they've really grown in that space. And we're very fortunate. We've got a young fella by the name of Jeb Walter, who we think is going to be an absolute dynamite player for us moving forward. We've got him that's learning off those guys as well. So we're really excited about the prospect we have down there.
You mentioned Dave Swallow. Can you share a bit on his influence within the group? Obviously not playing recently.
Yeah, look, I've only known this guy for 18 months, and you won't hear a word spoken of him in any negative light. This guy is unbelievable. Wayne always talks about the first statue that will be built will be of David Swallow. He could have gone, he stayed. He could have got more, he stayed for less. He gave money back so others could get paid more to make sure this side has become successful, and it's a testament to him first and foremost as a footballer, but secondly as a person. He's an incredible human. He's one of those guys, we've got a selection dilemma. He's had a bit of a PCL, but he's on his way back, so he's going to give himself every chance, and then it's a head versus heart decision. Hopefully, he'll train well, he'll put his hand up, but you know what, if he doesn't get in, he'll be fully supportive of everyone that is in. He's just that sort of guy. We're very, very fortunate to have such a wonderful person in our footy club.
Can you be sentimental? Like how much can you do you lean on that in the finals? Because it probably does count for a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, well,
Something
that's
like that.
one of the things we'll go through as a match committee. What we do know is he's going to give himself every chance because of the way he trains and the way we know he plays. You know, he's a combative player, which lends itself to finals footy. But, you know, we've got those selection headaches will come in, the next 9 or 10 days. Thanks, guys. Thank you.